All right, y'all. Thank you for joining us. I should say y'all. That's my appropriate sign in here, right, for the Texas constituents. And we are sort of based in Austin, Texas. This has definitely grown into a community of whoever's available to jump in, because we definitely have members and even council members that span the Southwest and Southeast. I guess that would be more likely, like Lawrence in South Carolina. And just glad you guys could join us. Amy Wu's in Boston these days, and so please don't let location be a problem. We mostly meet online anyhow, so we'd love for you guys to be a part of our community. And if you are interested in joining and helping steering with ideas for marketing, for event planning, we are always open to some fresh ideas, and would love for you to reach out to Chris, who you also can see on the call right now. He's our chairperson, and see, I just gave you a title, chairperson of the Council.
Yeah,
You like that?
appreciate
You're
that.
welcome. You're welcome.
Voted, yeah.
And if you're local enough, the council gets together once a quarter for a meal, and but we would really like to have fresh ideas to help grow the community and make it meaningful and valuable on the content of what we're offering to folks. So today we have a little bit more announcements about our format here, of course, and then we have our community spotlight we started this year to introduce a team member or community member, somebody in our environment here, just to kind of highlight the different paths into data, and also just to get to know each other better. And then Ojo is a friend and colleague of mine through the Tableau ambassador realm that we're going to get to hear all things Tableau, AI and Tableau from. And I've seen some of this presentation before, and I'm excited that he's here and willing to spend the time with us. He has a very deep background in Tableau. I'll let him tell you more about that. But he's also worked as both a data scientist, a BI architect, and has made a lot of contributions to the Tableau data family community. So I'm excited that he's here with us today. So, Chris, do you get to cover rules? Okay, so if you don't mind.
Oh yeah, no, I'll definitely give a background. So this is a virtual tug, guys. So we do like to observe customary Zoom etiquette, but we do want you to participate. So if you have any questions or just like something, just react there in the chat window. And if you have any questions for our speakers, just send it to me. Homer's not on today. You can send it to me and just DM me directly or put it into the general questions, and we'll go ahead and review those at the end. And just a reminder that all of our YouTube, all of our tugs are posted on our YouTube channel. So if you missed one last month or whatever, you can always check it out there.
Awesome. And coming up next month, we're going to have Will Sutton, former Iron Fist champ, talk about. Actually, I don't think I know what he's going to talk about, but it'll be great.
He's talking.
He's speaking, and it'll be at noon Central Time Zone, because he is in London, and he's been very involved in the data dev side of the house, and a lot of that's working with APIs and Tableau. So I imagine that would be probably a top of mind with him. His session has been facilitated by Amy Wu, one of our council members, so that's going to be a lot of fun. And then the beginning part of December, we're going to have our holiday event. This year, we bumped it up 1 week earlier to make it a little bit more accessible to folks who are either traveling or have company events they need to make space for. So on the first Thursday of the month, if you're not involved in Data Fam Europe, just saying, there's no excuse. Please be penciling that in on your calendar. We'd love to have you join us. We'll be doing a gathering at the Barrel Room in Austin Beer Works. We found that facility worked really well in August, and it's kind of north central Austin, south of the Domain, but it's real accessible. You don't have to deal with downtown traffic or parking. So we'd love to have you join us for some networking and food and fun. And we'll publish more about the format when we get a little closer, but food and fun is the focus. So we will be excited for you to join us if you can.
Yeah, I definitely want to reiterate, guys, if you weren't at the August one, it was it was a ton of fun, big showing. We had maybe 35 people. It was huge. So, we're hoping to get a lot of folks out for the holidays. So if you want to come join us and just meet and greet, come see us in December.
And then imagine a few of you, including Chris, are headed to Dreamforce next week. You want to talk about that for a sec, please?
Yeah, everybody. Hopefully some of y'all are able to make it. Heading out to San Francisco next week, going to Dreamforce, joining the rest of the tens of thousands of people. So it'll be tons of fun. If you are going, hit me up on Slack or on Zoom here today. Let me know. I'd love to meet up with you. I think, there's going to be a lot of exciting news coming out, not just Salesforce, but Tableau as well. So be sure to check out the keynote. If you can attend, definitely check out the webinars online. They stream everything live, and if you can't catch it, they always record them. But just a lot of great content that'll be out next week. So stay tuned for that. Very exciting.
And then we also have our own Slack channel that we'd love for you to join if you are doing Slack. Lots of us live and breathe onto Slack. And also there's the Tableau community Slack channel as well. I think, Chris, you were going to maybe put the Slack invite into
Just did. There we
yeah,
go.
perfect, onto Zoom chat. So if you wanted to that's a great place to have quick access to news and announcements from our local tug. And then you also can join our mailing list. So, and I think that you probably have joined your mailing list, had the option to join the mailing list when you registered for this event. So lots of ways to stay informed. All right, so we're going to transition into our program now. And the first thing is going to be our community spotlight. And we're really pleased to get to introduce to you all Cameron Brown, who is an account executive at Tableau Software. And she has been participating in the advisory council and just been I've really enjoyed getting to know Cameron. And I've linked on here her LinkedIn and her Tableau Public. And I'm gonna turn the baton to her. She's brought some photos to share and a little bit of a chat between the two of us. So Cameron, I'm gonna pass it over to you, my friend.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Celia. And I just started sharing my screen. Are you guys able to see this okay?
You can
Yes,
see
we
it.
can.
All right, perfect. Well, before we go into the discussion, Celia, I just wanted to briefly introduce who I am. And before I even start there, I just want to give a huge thank you to this advisory council for the Austin Tug. For the folks who are on, I actually just joined the advisory council from the Tableau perspective. So I do work here at Salesforce. And I joined this council here in February, March. And it has been so cool to see the dedication that this group has towards bringing enablement to the broader community. So it's been a real privilege to learn from them and also see again how they've impacted our larger data fam with these free enablements. So definitely reach out to join or offer feedback on things that you guys want to see. But thank you, Celia and Chris, for having me today. Now jumping into who am I? So I am an account executive here at Salesforce, specifically supporting Tableau. In my time here, I've only supported what we classify as highly regulated industries. So I have supported our Department of Defense customers before moving to support some of our health systems on the East Coast. I actually have some folks who I used to work with here on the call today, which is really exciting to see you guys. So thanks for joining and supporting. Whereas now I am supporting our school districts across the country. So I support specifically K-12, and I genuinely love what I get to do. I think it's so unique and such a privilege to be able to chat with various groups of people to learn what challenges you guys face with data access and how Tableau is helping to improve your decision-making abilities across every single vertical that I have supported. There's one common theme, and I think it is universal, that we are all data rich and insight poor. And I think it's really cool to see what different organizations are able to do when they have access to data and are able to unlock access to that data across organizations. Just using my time in supporting health systems, I actually had someone tell me once, the cure to cancer exists. We just don't know how to sift through the data to find it. And I think that that's really powerful when we try and apply that to every other industry that we work with and on all of the things that you guys are doing in your own jobs. Just some fun tidbits about myself. I have 2 cats who are my pride and joy. You will probably see a fluffy tail come across the screen as I talk. I do love to travel. I've been fortunate to have some really great trips this year. I was able to go to Costa Rica and then also go on a houseboat in Lake Powell. We stayed right on the border and it was really beautiful. So if anyone likes to travel or wants to test their ability to, I would say that staying on a houseboat is more so glamping than camping, but I highly recommend. That was an amazing experience. In addition, I also have a Tableau public page where I do my own Spotify Wrapped every year. I was just telling the team I have stopped making them public because it was ridiculous how large Taylor Swift, her icon showed up. And I wouldn't like the world to see those listening habits at their own will. But the last fun fact about myself is I do love to read, more so fiction and sci-fi, dystopian-esque. So if anyone has book recommendations, I'd love to hear it. I may not read it candidly, but I would still love to hear what you have to say. So that's a little bit about me. But for Celia, for next, I'd love to answer some questions from you.
Awesome. So, and I think you're prepared to show your Spotify off of Tableau Public, right? Would love to
Yes.
see that.
Okay, well, if you guys do want to follow me, here is my Tableau Public. I can drop my link in the chat. I definitely am not doing all of the creative things that the other ambassadors are posting on Tableau Public. I love subscribing to the Viz of the Day, but this was really fun to do to kind of scratch the creative itch that I have. And this was my own Spotify Wrapped that I made a few years back. It engages against each other, of course, but really fun to also see, what types of music I listen to throughout the year and my own trends. And personally, I like my own setup better than what Spotify gives me now. But fun fact, for anyone on the call, I definitely encourage you to, play around with Tableau, whether you are a beginner user or more advanced. I think it's always great to, play around in a tool with data that is familiar to you, something like your music history. And if you didn't know, you can get access to your Spotify data. All you have to do is log in and then request the data be sent to you, and then you can upload it into your very own Tableau Public.
Awesome.
Very cool. Coldplay was your biggest, that you most listened to? Is that?
We've got Viva La Vida as my top song, and Ariana Grande with Very High.
Nice.
Right on. And which year was this one that you're sharing with us right now?
This was 2022, actually, or
Okay.
2021.
21. Awesome.
Yep.
Right.
It hasn't changed.
And did you see much change in the trends between the two that you've got posted up?
Honestly, no, which is why I stopped. I was like, okay, I'm getting a little redundant. And then
That's
the
fair.
year of the Eras tour, I did have the privilege to attend and see Taylor Swift live. And where this circle is still large but relatively small, the entire screen was just Taylor Swift. So
Oh, gotcha. Wow.
That's great.
So part of the reason, I would imagine then living in Austin, the music scene here is a lot of fun to be a part of. And do you participate much in that scene?
Yeah, definitely. I will say I have visited Nashville, and I think that Nashville is technically, the live country music capital, and Austin is the live music capital. I don't know if we surpass Nashville, but I will still give us credit. We do have I live on South Congress, and there are so many opportunities to see local artists live. Homer was actually telling me about some other really unique opportunities. So I do love that. And of course, had the chance to attend ACL last weekend. So I love all of the opportunities Austin gives us to check out the live music scene for sure.
And did you have a favorite, one or two favorites out of last weekend?
Yes. I think that my overall favorite had to be Gigi Perez. She was phenomenal. an amazing vocalist. I had a few of her songs saved, but I've just been listening to her albums on repeat since this weekend. And then Hosier, that was my first time ever seeing him live, and he was fantastic.
Awesome. So I'm going to pivot a little bit toward your professional life. How did you, what drew you? I looked into your background a little bit more on the marketing side. How did you get into data? And from the point of view of like, if you were encouraging someone else that had marketing kind of background, how would you encourage them to get into data as well?
Yeah, great question. Well, what is, I think, unique about my history before joining Tableau full time is I actually did start as an intern. And
Oh, cool.
that 3-month opportunity was amazing because my manager at the time, uh, phenomenal mentor, but she also recognized that, maybe sales specifically wasn't something that I wanted. I actually studied business marketing and analytics. In college. And so I always thought that I would do maybe more market research or something in that realm. And when I joined Tableau, I got the unique opportunity to speak with a lot of different business units and hear, their approach, their vision when it comes to data. And I learned that in my position now, again, I think I'm really fortunate where I help organizations unlock the power of data. But I think my own journey with understanding the power of that was really unique, and the chance to hone in on the craft a little bit more, and know that this was the right move for me. From that internship, I did take additional courses. I also made sure that there was professional and personal development baked into my workday at all points. So we are constantly innovating. When even we look outside of just the Tableau platform, BI is changing. There are new and new innovations. How is AI impacting our work? So there is always something new to learn. So I'd say for other folks that are looking to get started, using the Spotify Wrapped as an example, again, play around with data that you're used to. I now I have I've looked at changes for my financials. I've done when my cats were kittens to adults, tracking their weight, etc. You can do anything, right? It doesn't have to be within your organization. So start small, but then continue to look at other opportunities for advancement for some of that professional, personal development. And I think you guys would maybe not be surprised because you are on the tug today, but there are so many free resources out there to be trained. Specifically, I have focused on leveraging Trailhead, which is Salesforce's free training platform. There are a lot of different modules within there, and Tableau modules have been added more and more throughout the last 2 years. And so I can continuously find new trails to take for some of that free enablement.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I'm going to try to grab the link for that and throw it out in the Zoom chat in just a second here. So what are your favorite, you definitely have talked about a little bit, but I'm going to just ask, what if you have free time, what is one of your favorite ways or a couple of your favorite ways to spend that time that's away from work?
Yeah, I mentioned earlier kind of the creative itch. I do think, staring at a screen all day, try to make sure that we get outside. In Austin, we're so fortunate with all of the outdoor activities and almost perpetual summer. So it's
Yes, right.
blessing and a curse. So definitely
Right.
try and get out. So you guys might see me walking around Lady Bird Lake. That's how you know I'm not an official local because they don't call it Town Lake. And then also with a good book. So those are some of the things that I like to do. But stay active. Try and do something creative. I am not artistically inclined necessarily, but the paint by numbers really really good way to pretend.
Makes sense. That's good. All right. Is there a feature or two out of the Tableau realm that you're really looking forward to upcoming? Or
Ooh, yeah, great question. I am actually really excited. So I'd be curious to learn how many folks in attendance are Tableau server customers versus Tableau Cloud. Sorry, but this will be for our Tableau Cloud folks. But at the end of this month, with the next release of Tableau, we are launching our Tableau agent for consumers or viewer users, where they're able to ask or see trends in the dashboards related to them in natural language, leveraging AI. This is something that I think will help to increase adoption in data literacy across organizations. So I'm really excited to see what the impact will be for that. And I think that it's something that is missing for a lot of folks. And I know that I've talked to many developers who struggle with spending 40 50 hours developing the perfect dashboard, and someone will come back saying, I don't know how to read it, and it's not used. So I'm excited for that to also help support all of the work that these developers put into the dashboards, and again, increase that data literacy.
Awesome. I guess we have probably a big announcement coming up soon on Iron Viz. Do you mind sharing a little bit from the Tableau side of the house about the Iron Viz process, and hopes that others will jump in as we get this kicked off this season?
Definitely. So whenever we post the Iron Viz, I don't think the submissions are open yet. I think it'll be about January, a January
I think what I heard was there's an announcement coming this weekend, potentially. So the qualifiers will happen during Q4. So
yes, okay. And but whenever submissions open, I definitely encourage anyone to submit. I mean, this on the screen, this is not Iron Viz worthy, but you can get creative. You'd be surprised. So many people count themselves out and don't submit to something like the Iron Viz. But you have it in your power to do this and do it successfully. I definitely encourage anyone to submit their names. I actually got the chance to see the Iron Viz live this year, and it was cool to watch. Obviously, Bo won. Bo actually was speaking at our last tug, but it's cool to watch Bo test himself in that moment. And I think all of the contestants said that they proved something to themselves throughout the process. So definitely encourage everyone to at least try. Again, don't count yourself out. I would love to see someone else from the Austin area, or at least someone who has attended our Austin tug, submit and win.
Awesome. Okay. Any other final thoughts you want to share before I turn it over to them for questions?
Final thoughts. One of the best quotes that I was told since starting here was, don't ever let someone tell you data can't be creative. I think, again, you guys showing up to this tug in the middle of the workday for personal development is very impressive. I'd love to see how you guys are able to apply some of the creativity towards inspiring your internal communities on how to leverage analytics. Again, platform agnostic, but I would love to see you guys leveraging Tableau to do so. I'd love to answer any questions. I am, part of the Tableau team. So if you guys need help with getting access to resources, who your team is dedicated to you here at Salesforce, please feel free to reach out to me and let me know. But yes, does anyone have any questions for me?
Feel free to just open mic ask or put them in the chat.
Put me on the spot.
I totally put you on the spot there. Sorry, girl. Sorry,
no,
friend.
That's perfect.
I don't see any questions yet. A lot of applause, though.
Yes. Awesome.
Well, good. Well, thank you guys for listening, and thank you for the spotlight. This is very fun. And
thank you very much,
Cameron.
Thank you for doing it, Cameron. So without further ado, I'm going to pass the baton to Ojo Basu, who is principal and founder and principal consultant at Data to Visuals. And I love on his LinkedIn how he talks about his mission statement and what keeps him engaged and encouraged and focused. So making data literacy accessible to all is most certainly a worthy mission, to be sure. As I read about his background, I saw that there's a lot of data cybersecurity and architecture that he's been involved in over the course of the recent years of his career. And he's very, very active in the Tableau data fam. And speaking into lots of people's lives around the world. I watched him speak to a UK one target last week. So I think you actually spoke to one earlier this week, didn't you, as well?
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
This week was there was one in Toronto.
Oh, okay, there we go. So he's a man on a mission, to be sure. And I want to encourage you guys to check out his YouTube channel. He publishes there, as well as his LinkedIn profile is listed here. And then we'll get these links in the chat here in a second. But you've got a wide collection also that you've put up on your Tableau public page as well, right?
Yeah. All credits to Andy's Next Level Tableau.
Yeah,
I went from having 70 visuals to close to 250 now.
Yeah, that's an incredible. Yeah. So, in case you didn't catch that, y'all, he's being mentored by Andy Kriebel. So there you go. So, Ajay, I'm going to pass the baton to you, my friend.
Thank you, Celia. This is quite a pleasure to be speaking to the Austin folks, and thank you for taking time out of your schedule to show up here. The community means the world to me. Yes, I've been quite a busy bee. 4 lines, not enough. There's a lot more work that I do behind the scenes. But Retail Tug, that's virtual. And 2 of the folks, the co-leaders of Retail Tug, the user group that we started last year, it's just shy of a year that we started the retail user group. And as the name suggests, it's for retail focused folks, but it's part of the community. And I stand for community. Everything that I've learned in the last 6-7 years is from the community. Although I've been doing Tableau for 12-13 years now, a lot has changed in the recent years. So everyone who's joined recently, you should know that you have so many options. You're spoiled. This is my 2nd year as a Tableau ambassador. I am a frequent volunteer mentor for the Data Viz Society, the Data Visualization Society, and I felt that we needed another community project, much like Makeover Monday, where people go all bonkers and crazy. My focus is in building business dashboards. If you looked at my Tableau public, although there are 240 different vizzes, I feel like 90% of them are probably business dashboards, bar charts, trend charts, line charts, pie charts, a few of them. And pretty much that's all there is. With that, I would like to flow into today's presentation. I have much to cover. I would like to start with how I use AI in my day-to-day work. Talk about Pulse, agentic AI. I have a small demo on TableauNext. And by all means, Celia, fill it in if you see something that needs to be mentioned and I'm missing. So my shout out is join the community, BizWiz52, and I'll share the link after, is something that Umar and I run. It's like a weekly project where we have data set. And the best part is you don't have to use Tableau. You can be spreadsheet, you could be Power BI, Sigma, any tool, Looker, any tool. As long as you're building data visualizations with business folks or business context, like what is the question that you want to answer from this data set? If the focus is in building a business dashboard, you're in. And we're really trying to grow this community. So if you feel like you have some time on the side and you want to do something for the community and learn and have fun along the way, by all means, BizFiz52 is my shameless plug for the day. All right. How do I use AI, like the GPT tools? A few, the Data Mockstar. This one is built by Adam Miko. Just type 1 in the chat if you know him. If you don't, no big deal. You'll know him when I get done with this presentation. Adam is a proliferant community member in the Tableau ecosystem. He's done fantastic work. He's a visionary and one of my favorites when it comes to helping the community out. Data Mockstar is one of the tools that he used the GPT platform on, and you can use GPT-5 if you have. And the purpose I use this is I need mock data to go from, say, I built a dashboard for one of my banking clients, and I have to show and tell to my insurance folks. I cannot definitely take my banking secure data and show it to insurance folks because that's not the right thing to do. So what I would do is I would spit out fake data using this tool, build a dashboard, publish it to Tableau Public, and then show and tell to my clients. And more often than not, great ideas start from a visual. It's easier to decide a design pattern or to talk about their business problems when you look at data visualization. Similarly, there are a few other tools like the dashboard documentation, the Viz Critique Pro, and you can find help information as to how to use this over here in these blurbs. So I encourage you to take a look at these AI GPT tools. And the one favorite tool, I'm going back to the Tableau conference, TC25. Prior to that, I was using this Tableau certified data exam GPT. Will Sutton is another visionary, a very good and a prominent figure in the community, and is a winner. And he built this GPT where you can ask questions like, if you're preparing for your Tableau certification, give this tool a try. If you're hearing this recording, or if you're even here, by all means, these are the 4 things these GPTs I cannot live without. Fantastic. Going back to the presentation. Switching gears, in the chat, let me know how many of you use Tableau Pulse or know what Tableau Pulse is. And if you don't know, great, now you know. Tableau Pulse is the reason why Tableau Pulse is popular and why it's going to be a game changer if it is not already, is Tableau for the longest time used to be a dispersed tool. You had to build data, your data definitions, build a visualization, and then it would be at the mercy of the users, whether they came in and they clicked and wanted to interact with the dashboard in the ecosystem. Versus Pulse is more like a push. Like if you subscribe to your Pulse metrics, you will be receiving them on your smart devices if you have set it up properly. And that is the why, like the market gap that Pulse fills, and I have a deck for it. But here is why Pulse, I feel, is a game changer, is because we can automatically surface the right insight within context in the flow of work to your right people and stakeholders without having them to dig through a slew of dashboards or having to write any queries. I have a demo. I don't know whether I should be playing it. It's like a 2-minute demo by Tableau, but if there is time, we'll come back to it. So what gap does the Tableau Pulse fill? The reason why I'm rushing through this is I want to show these features in a show and tell rather than read out from a deck. Not much of a deck person. Like I was mentioning, Tableau Pulse is more of a pull, is more of a push rather than a pull. If it's set up properly, the stakeholders would receive these pulse metrics on their phone devices and what have you, and don't have to come to work through a slew of dashboards to find insights. If you and the personalization that we're talking about, a user can subscribe to certain metrics. Say, for example, you are the VP of your team and you care about these 5 KPIs or 5 metrics, and through Pulse, you could subscribe to only those KPIs. And as long as you see it's a green, you don't even have to worry about drilling into a slew of dashboards to find the answer of questions that you don't need to find. So it's scalable and personalized. Pulse also has this little Einstein beside it where you can ask questions once you see what you like and further drill in natural language. And thinking about natural language, this is going to be if it's not already, because my 8-year-old, when he has to interact with tech, he's lazy, right? And he doesn't want to type because he struggles. He's 8 years old. He would click on that mic symbol and speak to it. And he would ask questions, whether be it Alexa, whether be it Google, or any search button. He would ask a question by clicking on and use his voice to search. That is where I believe we're headed. Now we have to type the prompt, and Pulse or TableauNext, that little Einstein helper of ours, assistant, spits out answers in natural language. That is where I believe we're headed. And think about consistency and governance. Pulse with the data object, we'll talk about it shortly, is that one layer where you can implement consistency and data governance, which I believe in the day and age of agentic AI is most valuable and key for any successful AI algorithm to successfully work and spin through tons and tons of data. A little humor here. Anyone who's seen the Matrix movie, I know I'm dating myself, I'm getting old. But if you have, type a 1. When we talk about agents in Tableau, these are not the agents we want to run away from. These are the agents we want to befriend with, right? They are our friends. The agentic analytics space in the BI ecosystem is now the last mile of going from insight to action. And if you have noticed the shout out, the vision behind Tableau was to see and understand data. That was in the years before. And now they have added and to take action or something like that. So we are going from insight to actionable insight. And I think agentic analytics is that last mile. There is another demo on TableauNext. It's the Salesforce demo, but I'd save it for later if we have time. Why is TableauNext there? What is the gap TableauNext is trying to fill? When I look at Tableau's journey over the last, say, 15 years, of which 12 I've been actively involved in using, pretty much it used to be Tableau Desktop, right? You download desktop, you throw in your data set or you connect to your data set, and then you build visualization. Once you've built the visualization, you then publish it to the server later now and cloud, right? So either it's on server, in-prem, or on the cloud. And so that's another platform. So you build somewhere, you publish it somewhere else, and then socialize with your team, your stakeholders by sharing that URL to the published dashboard. And if you had serious heavy lifting with your data, modeling it, reshaping it, or joining it, or creating some kind of relationship between your data sources, you would have to use Tableau Prep, which was a separate experience. So you had Tableau Prep to prepare the data, and then you had either publish the data on the server or use it on your Tableau desktop to build visualizations and then publish it on server. Now, Tableau, Salesforce now is going from that 3-thing or 4-thing, 4 different tool set to one unified experience. It's more focused towards that platform experience where with TableauNext, you don't have to worry about these tools anymore. You get into the Salesforce platform, and on that massive Salesforce platform, which has several other like Customer 360 and a whole slew of other features, TableauNext is that seamless in the flow of work experience. And with that, you have your trusted semantic layer, your data pro. Then you have your concierge, where you can get information about the flow of your work, right? Metrics, and it's like another layer. And then on top of that, you build the data visualization, something that we are very familiar with in the Tableau desktop world. Same experience, but in a different platform. And then with agentic AI, you can take action, you can ask questions, and then go from insight to taking action on, and use the response from those questions, publish them to Slack, share it within your org, or reach out directly to your counterpart and go from questions to action in the flow of work. That is the vision that Tableau Salesforce is after with TableauNext. I hope I was able to explain this. Too many words. Mark Reed, an amazing Hall of Fame visionary, Tableau visionary on his platform, and I have the link. I can share it. He's published a short article where he's drawn this diagram of how Tableau Next ecosystem, the workspace, can relate to these different layers. So you have the data source. Consider that as the inner rung of your layered onion, where it's like the bulb at the very source of it is the data source. And then you have data prep layer to prepare the data, the prep flows, on top of which you have the semantic layer, and then you build visualizations in Tableau Next ecosystem. And then you have the dashboards where you stick in each of these reports into one, and also you can publish them as apps. So that is where we are headed to. So let's switch gears and do a bit of show and tell. I already logged in. This is the Tableau Next Sales Cloud. What you see here are pulse definitions, essentially, of metrics that you could query in natural language, right? So if I reduce this, I can see this is my year-to-date pipeline generation metric, right? And I can apply filters here, and I can focus on a particular industry and what have you. Or I can further drill in and break this down by account type or primary industry, opportunity type, opportunity owner, and things like that. I can also slice and dice, and instead of looking at year to date, and look at some other granularity of the time dimension. So essentially, this is one of your metric, right? And similarly, this is one dashboard where you have each of these as separate components stitched together. I can further go in and I can say, let's take this one, weighted pipeline value by account type, and explore this visualization further. So when I look at this one, I can see there are 3 different account types and the total sales dollars as bars, right? I can go in further and I can say edit. And when I click on that edit, I get an interface that reminds me of Tableau Desktop. You have your columns, your rows, you have your marks card, your filters, and what you have, the data object, the Sales Cloud data object here, with definitions, metrics, dimensions, your measures and dimensions, right? So this, we very quickly went from a dashboard to an edit capability in the flow of work. And when I click on qualification, and as I click on it, I can see that my dashboard is interactive, right? If I were to click on small business, all the metrics over here, including the pulse metrics here, my performance, the scatter plot, everything changes to be specific to the choice of small business. And similarly, I can click it back, and now I'm looking at the entire ecosystem instead of small business. So this is that interactivity that is available to us. Similarly, and all of these features are consistently available across all report types. Or you could just go in here at the dashboard level and add in additional metrics reports here at the dashboard level as well. With that, let me show you. So this is the Sales Cloud org. that is within the data, that is within the TableauNext ecosystem. If I wanted to look at all the apps available, here is the data cloud, which is fundamental to building any dashboard visualizations and what have you. And it has helpful information. So I can go ahead and create my own data lake objects. There is lack of time, and this presentation can go on for hours and hours if I were to get into the depths of DLOs, the data lake objects, and the DMOs and what have you. But I would encourage all of you, whoever's listening to this today or a recording of this, to explore the trailheads. It's well documented. I find it very helpful, and get into the learning mode while playing around with TableauNext. On the chat, let me know if you use TableauNext yet. If not, stick a 1 if you use TableauNext. If not, it's coming, because organizations are inevitably will have to leverage AI. And Salesforce is the one platform, it's one of the leaders, according to Gartner, who is doing AI, agentic AI at scale on a serious note. So either you are on the Microsoft or the Google bandwagon, or you're with Salesforce. So the way I look at it is AI is here. It's going to be here for a long time. It's like the industrial revolution of today's age. And if you say, no, I don't want to learn AI, then you're left behind. For me, I've seen Tableau evolve over the years, and I know for sure that it's coming in waves, but it's coming for sure.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah. With that, I want to hand it over to you, Celia.
Okay, very good. I would just add on a couple of things to what you've already shown. Thank you so much for doing that demo of TableauNext. I don't think a lot of people have had the chance to see the framework that it is and be familiar with the interactivity of it and how familiar it's going to feel to so many people. So just to piggyback on what Ojo has already shared, I'd like to show a couple things. And my background is absolutely in training and enablement. I'm a university professor, and I am working with Zero Matrix as their training and enablement lead. And so the materials I wanted to also piggyback and share and show a little bit came from some of our internal training that we've done. But I think that a lot of the focus and then I also was involved in the beta for TableauNext starting in about end of May. So I've watched it mature through the summer. I think that it's becoming more robust, more able, more stable, all of that. Especially since about mid-August, it's been fantastic, and I'm sure they're making a big push to make it even next level by Dreamforce this coming week. This space that I'm showing you right now is the semantic layer. Earlier in my career was very much a database person. I've probably taught more people SQL than I have Tableau, and I've taught a load of people Tableau. So my heart is always connected to what is the foundation we're doing or using here, and why is it special? Well, to my point of view, being able to take advantage of the semantic layer inside of TableauNext is where I feel like the hugest value proposition is, because having a truly multi-user, well described data model that's approached by an conditioned LLM that's going to be able to give me the opportunity to ask simple natural language questions to it. And I don't mean civil, like not complex, but I mean like just straightforward, regular language, right? So being able to ask those questions and get an answer back from the agentic and feature within this data model is going to be incredible. And the part of it that I don't know that is well understood is that this is like a new avenue for analysts to to pour into and become very involved in AI, is rather than listening to anyone who's telling you that AI is going to take our jobs. No, it's just the job is going to change. And so jump in, the water is warm, and it's going to be a great space to be a part of. Part of the one, like this feature right here called business preferences, that's one of the ways that we're going to inform and train the model on our data. So in about 5 to 8 places that instantly come to mind for me, we're able to describe and give context to this model in the system, rather than that business domain expertise existing in somebody's brain that's over in the other building. And, it gets to be embedded here so that it's accessible for all of us and empowers this analytics agent. Now, as we all make a bigger investment in our data models and the content that it holds, because even down to the filtering that you build into these things, we have the pulse metrics that Ojo was describing. We have calculated fields that are our old familiar friends. We have parameters, again, old familiar friends from Tableau, right? We have logical views that are part of our ecosystem now. But these other pieces and parts and filters, as we build them, we have a chance to describe what the sentiment means and define it from the very beginning. Is that good or bad? Giving it more context to be able to answer better questions for us over here. So pardon me, just 1 second. I'm going to load up this. This is part of what I've been using at work for our internal training. And I really feel like the data is the big thing that's happening here, and to bring some little bit better visualizations maybe to Salesforce users, but the semantic model is the big deal. And those embedded rules, the sentiment, the guidance for success, what that looks like, you get to put it all. There are places for all those definitions. And I would strongly recommend that you take a look at some of the trailhead lines for data governance, for what makes quality data. There's some really excellent ones that have already been created. And then notice that there's going to be new features embedded into Concierge, which has been the name of that analytics agent that I had on screen a second ago. And it's in beta for this part of the year, or so probably early spring will be its release time. I sat through a presentation last Thursday that was for the product manager for the semantic model was giving. And this is one of a screenshot I took of one of his slides about how that grounding agents would be one of the new responsibilities of the analyst. Well, that is in the AI world and the agentic analytics world. Somebody has to inform them, right? And it's not a data cleaning job, it's a data informing job. So us grounding agents in the right kind of information for it to be able to serve our insights and purposes. And unto that, there's been a recognition that semantic layer data model that we make a big investment in needs to be able to be shared or informed by data cloud and, kind of portable within the ecosystem, right? And I definitely am hearing more and more discussion about a commitment to be interoperable in the various parts and pieces of the Tableau platform. So unto that, in the 2025.2 feature release deck, they were describing how that and some of you may have already experimented with this, but you should be able to, if you have Next and you also have cloud, you should be able to use, or desktop, you should be able to connect to the Tableau semantic layer and bring some of that into your desktop app to do analysis with. Additionally, there's discussions about it being general availability at some point this year for the other direction to happen, right? So we've got these published data sources in our cloud environment. Oh, do we have to really recreate it all? No, we can port it over and finish it up with those descriptions and such. And that's going to be a massive win, I think, on expanding and yet keeping things intact that you've already made a massive investment in. So from my point of view, the semantic model descriptions of business rules is a big thing. And they, they're had some conversations with one of the engineers that's involved in the business rules in particular. So they're really trying to provide some support there on how to make that really effective, right? So, and in my testing, I was slowly increasing the amount of information I was giving the descriptions and model to see at what threshold does it actually start giving me really good feedback in terms of compound questions or questions where I say, I want this, but I don't want that. That's kind of one of those anti-statements, and that goes into an LLM has trouble with it usually. There's a balance between business preference rules we'll need to create versus calculated fields. I definitely saw how that when I added a few calculated fields that address the type of analysis I was looking to do, that it was more successful in giving me more complex answers back. They're also the same product manager I watched last Thursday, this next two pieces were from him, where they're going to be adding a concierge testing center into TableauNext, so that as you're setting it up, you're able to validate that it's understanding what you're saying, essentially. So being able to get calibration, and then even down to a testing center where the question is asked, there's some calibration tools that are running, and then you're able to give it an accuracy score. I don't know if any of you were early adopters with ChatGPT, but there used to be a day where we were giving thumbs up to that model, right? And it's not too far different from that. What we would probably need to do with an LLM that we're internally training, right? So I feel like this is going to be very helpful and productive to be able to make sure that the calibration is there and that the results are on track for what they need to be in alignment with the business unit. So applying what they're calling guardrails, of course, right? Because it needs to learn, and we need to inform it, and so that it can really assist our users and our stakeholders to make those great insights. And so I just wanted to share that little bit of fresh pickings from my grapevine, so to speak. But so had you seen, I think, Ojo, you were there for some of that presentation, right? That from the product manager that we mutually saw, right?
That's right, yes.
Yeah, right. So
yeah, these are exciting times, Celia, and every 6 months, I think there is significant improvement in the ecosystem, and this is something which is quite interesting, because more so now than it was before. The amount of investment of time and resources that's going in from the Salesforce side is evident.
I agree. Yeah, and really encouraging. So I've been very thrilled to hear the interoperability conversation grow. So, okay, well, let's see. Let us wrap up a little bit here. And Ojo, thank you so much for coming and sharing with us today. Just want to remind you guys that next month we will have our regular meeting at noon instead of middle of the afternoon. So we'll be hearing from Will Sutton. And it's so interesting, Ojo, that you featured some of Will's work. That's really cool. Thank you for that. And like as if we planned it or something. I mean, thank you sincerely.
Right on cue.
Yeah, Will is one of my hot favorites. When I met him
Yeah.
at the conference, he's now a new dad. I'm like, how do you manage your time? You're so good at this.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
I feel it's passion that we share for the product, the tool,
Yeah.
and the craft that drives us all.
That's good. That's well said. Yeah. And if you guys don't follow Ojo on LinkedIn, you probably should. I'm just saying he not only shares good technology things, but also just from a balanced life. He publishes about keeping it real and making sure that we're covering things that are most important in our lives. So so I'm going to finish this up real quick. December 4th, we'd love to see if you can make the trip, if you're in Austin or can be near Austin. We will have more details about that when we have our November meeting. And I think that's all we have for today, Chris. So
yeah, let's give let's give Ojo a big round of applause. Awesome presentation. Yeah, thank you for joining us. And in the San Antonio area, definitely let us know. Yeah.
Thank you, everyone.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, so we're going to do a little breakout room. We usually have breakout rooms, but in this case, I think we're just going to do one here. So if you'd like to drop now, you can. If you'd like to stay, we're going to do a little networking event we call Ask Anyone Anything Tableau. We'll do quick intros. And then just all you gotta do is say your name, how long you've been using Tableau, and what organization you're with, and then we'll jump into any questions anybody might have, or just content topics in general. So, I guess I can go first. I think I've met most of you guys. Chris Monahan, president of Zio Matrix. We're a Tableau partner based here in Austin, and I've been doing Tableau for, I guess, 13 12, 13 years now. I'm not a expert like Celia and Ojo, but I still can create a mean viz, I think. But yeah, Celia, you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. I'm Celia Fryar. I've been in and around Tableau for since about 2013, 14 timeframe. Went from proofreader and editor to author to teacher. And I started in database development and networking more on the hardware side of life, and then have found my way to analytics. But since 2016, I've been teaching analytics tools to folks who are near data, like data adjacent, wanting to get into analytics or data science and engineering. And then also a few years back picked up being an adjunct professor at University of San Francisco. But I love being in South Texas. We have perpetual summer. Cameron wasn't wrong. So I'm all good not being cold much. So yeah. So how about I pop it over to Jane? Can you say hello to the folks?
Hello, I'm Jane. I was the community spotlight at the Austin Tug in the summer. So I'm in Boston now. I'm a student in Boston. So yeah, I just like popping into the Austin Tug since I'm originally from San Antonio.
Awesome.
Yeah, so you're coming back at some point. Yes, we get you back eventually.
Yes.
Jane, you made it. Congratulations for the student ambassador, is it not?
Sorry, what was that?
A student ambassador?
Yes, I'm a Tableau student ambassador.
Yeah, you missed that part.
right.
Congratulations.
Yes, thank you.
All right.
Okay, who are you gonna popcorn it to?
Becker, you want to go next?
Sure. Yeah. Hey, I'm Becker Baruch. Been using Tableau for 6 years, I think now. Although I have to say, in the past at least 2.5-ish years, I've been supervising a team of Tableau developers and not really in Tableau much myself. So sorely missed, but enjoying other aspects of data work. I work at UT Austin, manage a team of Tableau developers within the central enterprise technology team. And I don't know, was another prompt? Did I miss something? Forget.
I know. I think that's
Yeah.
pretty good. Pretty good.
Yeah, hopefully you get your team to come to our December event. It'll be
Yeah,
Thursday, kind of toward
I've
the end of the
been-
day.
I've been I think I came last year. I was able to join. It was at the bar with the Ever Christmas
Lalas or something like that.
Lalas.
Yeah, yeah,
Christmas
yeah.
all the time. Yeah.
That was a cool
Christmas all the
experience.
time. Okay. Good.
And for the rest, some of my team live locally, others live kind of across Texas and the country. So so maybe I'll persuade some of them, convince some of them to join.
Awesome.
And Luis, I guess you haven't gone yet.
Good afternoon. My name is Luis Martinez. Let's see, I've been using Tableau since 2018. Currently, I am a manager with BCD Travel for Apple.
Oh, very good.
Very cool. Well, welcome. Are you based here in Austin as well?
Yes.
All right. All right. Very cool. All right. Well, nice crowd. Becker, don't y'all have y'all have your own tug, or do y'all do a Tableau day or something? I recall you were telling me about that one time at an event.
Yeah. So we have an internal user group, although we actually recently transitioned from being a Tableau focused kind of group to more of a generalized analytics group. Yeah, I co-lead it with 3 other colleagues of mine from different teams, and yeah, we just found that, I mean, we've been running the tug since 2021, and we had like monthly meetings for a few years, and then we shifted to quarterly meetings with longer kind of meeting times. And there's been just a bigger presence of other BI tools on campus, as well as just people that join the TUG because they're interested in data and analytics and visualization. So we felt like there was a lot more kind of interest in potentially branching out and talking about data more generally, and being a community of practice for kind of data folks across campus rather than just Tableau tools. So yeah, we actually recently did like a session on R and how to use R to analyze data using Porto. And there's a lot of people who work in units that don't have funding for Tableau and aren't able to get their hands on a Tableau license, and being able to get, you know, an insight into how they might be able to use something open source like R is very valuable to them. So that's what kind of we've found and yeah, recently modified that.
One of my sons, well, both of them went to UT, but one of them was in some classes where it was supposed to be data visualization, but they did Python and Altair, and it was actually really impressive. And I was very like, okay, well, this is cool, because you know what you said, it's free. But you know, I guess as a Tableau academic investor, I'm also sort of wanting to also mention that we can get y'all stuff for free. I can help you with the decoder on that if you guys want it. So they will give professors, anybody within .edu who's a teacher, a Tableau cloud environment, and that you can activate for your students, and then that'll give them with sufficient creator licenses so that they could do Tableau desktop while they're, you know, in under your tutelage. So yeah, that's what I do at USF. So
yeah. Actually, a former colleague of mine, and she used to attend here as well, Drea Cato, she teaches Tableau and data visualization at the I school at UT. So yeah, there is a Tableau presence in the kind of I school thing. I think that the challenge for people who work in the units is that, you know, once you get past the student, you know, designation, then those licenses cost money.
That's a problem. Yes,
so,
you're right.
So for resources, for units that just don't have the resources for that, there's solutions. Yeah, but yeah, definitely.
Yeah, they supposedly have improved Tableau Public. They made some Tableau Public desktop edition, but I've not had a chance to check it out because I'm, you know, time and all that. So, but yeah, that's nice to meet you. Thank you for sharing.
And I actually had a question about TableauNext. I don't know, because I mean, we've been looking at Tableau Cloud and trying to understand where our readiness and maturity is for that. But I mean, it's cool. Thank you for the presentation. I mean, thank you for bringing, or Ojo, thank you for coming and presenting, and thank you for Chris and Celia and everyone else for bringing Ojo in to present. What do you feel about, so kind of like what I said, right? I'm a Tableau shop. There are a lot of other Tableau shops across campus, but as an organization, we have many BI tools. So not only BI tools, but many ways to access data for analysis, right, and insight. So the kind of concept of having a semantic layer that's specific to Tableau is interesting to me, because like I don't think that I've seen that elsewhere yet. I think a lot of the semantic layer tools that we're familiar with are more separate tools, right? And tool like BI tool agnostic. So what's the approach there? Is that like, is there any kind of thought about making that accessible to non-Tableau, like that it could be accessible from other areas? Do you know? Or is it really just more focused on Tableau environment? I don't know if anybody knows the answer to this, but I'm just floating that out there.
Yeah, this is a great question. I had parts of similar thoughts when I was at the conference or I was meeting. And here's what my take is, and I'm not claiming that my answer is 100% on point, but definitely I'm going to take this away. What I understood is, and I feel the reason why TableauNext is really set up for success. Salesforce is a bigger organization and it has a lot to offer. And there are several, like it has a mind share in the market with several big companies that have already invested in Salesforce ecosystem. With TableauNext, you are now part of that ecosystem. You don't have to go to Tableau. You don't have to go to Prep. You don't have to buy a server. You just buy TableauNext. You're part of the Salesforce ecosystem where you get agentic AI and all the good things, customer 360 integration, what have you. So that's the TableauNext piece. Also, when I was speaking about the experience part, you have the data model layer, the semantic layer, where you can design this. I feel your question is more like, can I have other tools, right? If I and most definitely any self-respecting organization would have like a data hub or its own on the cloud, like an S3 or what have you, a GCP of a data center where you have data coming in from several upstream systems dumped into that data lake or what have you. Tableau's semantic layer is zero copy. So you're not copying the data into the server. You're just referencing it, for the lack of a better word. And the output from the semantic layer could be dumped back into your data hub, for the lack of a better word, into a separate layer. So if you have your landing zone, you can have your presentation layer where it can go back to, or you can export it as a CSV file. And I'm sure there are APIs in the App Store, but don't quote me for that can do this in a very secured manner, scalable as a pipeline, right? But
Yeah, that's interesting because I think the concern in an org, like, and this is very, very org dependent, I'm sure. But
my
just,
question is,
yeah.
but my question is, why would you, having invested a big dollar value into TableauNext, want to take that data and work with it on any other tool when you have nothing better than Tableau aesthetically or from a capability standpoint? We know, of course, that Power BI, and don't quote me for that, is a great tool, but it's not half as good aesthetically or functionally to Tableau, right? It's just cheaper.
I lead a data viz team. I'm not the CIO, right? So from my perspective, yes, but at an organization of close to 18,000 employees, right? There needs to be a strong, so if you're saying let's invest the money and go with TableauNext, there needs to be a decision that that's the way to go, right? And I mean, just traditionally, universities don't usually work like that, right?
Right.
Celia, you might be more familiar with that, right? But I mean, I'm sure that there are other orgs out there that have very kind of federated kind of decision-making processes for different domains of the organization, right? And let's say if finance says they must have Power BI because of its integration with Excel and whatnot, right? If you do invest in something like TableauNext and invest in a semantic layer that allows, you know, more kind of user-friendly access to some of those kind of, you know, modified data sources, right? Then the kind of what you mentioned something about exporting it back. That could be a workaround to leveraging all of that work and not having it, you know, so to speak, go to waste if you don't have Tableau, right? If you're in a domain that doesn't have Tableau. So that's an interesting thought. So I didn't think about that. So yeah, thanks for that, Ojo.
Yeah, and it does seem to be like they're inching into space where you would have formerly had a central nervous system that was formed around a database product, right? Not around what we traditionally consider to be an application. So I think this next week at Dreamforce, there'll be more clarity in what gets expressed and forecasted. But it is a very interesting move that they're making here. And that I think any reasonable person would see that there needs to be not only interoperability between its own product line, but then accessibility, like more onto open source, right? So, and I know Ojo has participated with these more than I have, but Will Sutton off of our team, Zero Matrix, Christian, his last name, Chris, what is his last name?
Savidra.
Savidra, and a collection of other visionaries and ambassadors have come around and formed a group called the Data Devs. And if you're not plugged into those, that would probably be worth your while, because they are accessing the data models without using the presentation layer. And I think there's a whole next level of stuff that's available and possible, like right now, approaching it from that point of view. But your general business application user is not going to be able to do that level of technical meat, but someone in your group certainly would. So
yeah, and that's interesting because usually stuff like that is relegated to the data engineering team, right? Like accessing data via APIs and doing stuff like that. And then you have, maybe a disconnect between the vision, the data that's closer to the business, and technical teams that are closer to the engineering, and which tools you might use. Yeah. So
well, Python
I think
used
it's
to
gonna
not
be an
be a
interesting
household
next
world
couple of
either,
years.
So I feel like our tools are getting a little bit more less restricted to a few, more the hands of the many. I mean,
True.
I always thought it was humorous that ChatGPT was so well trained to do Python syntax correction, just like anyway, yeah.
True. Well, I appreciate the insight, everybody. Didn't mean to hog the questions.
No, thank you for the question. It's
That's
interesting to talk about.
Yeah, no, it is. That's what this is for. Ask anything. You did.
And real quick, Becker, are you connected with Peter Comer from your account team? Okay, good. I imagined if you were in development. But I think that it poses an interesting discussion. Celia and I, when we had our advisory group dinner on Monday, we were all talking about, I feel like there's an endless amount of questions of consideration and ways that this can go. I saw Google just announced updates on, the future for AI, but I think that these are great questions for you to be asking. It sounds like you guys are server. You said you're, thinking of what your options are for cloud. So I just wanted to be sure you were connected with Peter, but I appreciate
I saw Peter on the call before and I was like, oh, hey, but he didn't stay on the time. Yeah, no, we've talked multiple times about cloud and everything, TableauNext related, stuff like that. And he's also talking to other folks in the org for sure. So yeah, definitely. But thanks for the call out. Appreciate it.
Well, and the comments here too are interesting. Not to give you guys another channel to join on Slack, but we now have the larger Tableau community Slack channel. And I know the team, religiously moderates that. So if you guys do have thoughts, feedback, I know we have so many different avenues to receive customer feedback. You guys can suggest different features that you'd like to see. I've even done posted on that page before, but I also think, bringing some of these discussions to that community group could be interesting. Just towards the notes in the comment, the spontaneous focus group, we've got an interesting, opportunity to share your thoughts.
Yeah, I just put into our Zoom chat an invitation link to join the Slack channel for the Data Fam. And it actually is quite miraculous in my mind. People watching it around the clock, answering each other's questions, providing all kinds of assistance, feedback, strategy. I mean, I think that, let's see if I can just see how many. Last time I checked, there was like over 15,000 members on this channel now.
Great caller, Cameron. And Celia, I agree with you. The community Slack, I feel, is the best thing that has happened in a long time for the community. For the longest time, we had like guardrails where visionaries and ambassadors would be shielded from everybody else in the data fam. There has to struggle through different channels, but with this community, this is like floodgates have opened and there's questions, so much interaction and engagement.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'm also very active in the I don't know, Celia, you might be familiar with the higher education Tableau user group.
Yeah,
They also have
it's a great one.
channel.
They do. I think that they're one of the only ones that's going to remain as their separated one, because they have 3,000 people in that one.
Yeah.
I was
So
like,
I mean that one is extremely active. I've got
Yeah,
so many
yeah.
good kind of questions, so
Yeah.
many good answers to
Totally.
questions and insights from that one. So yeah, definitely, like, I don't know, everybody in the call here is already a buy-in, but you should record this and have this as like an ad for anybody who's not in the Slack channels, because like so much good insight there for sure.
So much, right? I had like purpose last year to visit a lot of different kinds of user groups just to kind of get a taste of what and a flavor and what works, what didn't work or seemed to work, you know. And her and the HE-Tug and Roshni and others have built their really remarkable and stands apart from a lot of the others. And so, yeah. In fact, the spotlight we do here, that's where I first saw it being done, was there. And you know, it's like cool. Let's meet some people from different walks of life, right? So
Yeah, we should push it a little bit more on the next Tug event too.
yeah.
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 Oh. Well, cool. Well, thanks everybody
Jane,
for
have you had midterms yet?
Oh,
No
I have
midterms yet.
one in 2 weeks, but most of my
Okay.
classes are project based, so
Oh,
it's just
okay.
very long-term project.
Right on. That's only good if you don't procrastinate, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Or if your team members participate.
Oh man, that's always when I'm assigning those things, I always have to have a plan for what happens when there's that person, you know, that just like refuses or has all the good excuses in the world, you know. Could be anything from sublime to the ridiculous. So
Ooh, that actually made me think of one more thing for the lucky folks still on the call. It's not earth-shattering, but I think it is important. I mentioned Trailhead, which is Salesforce's training platform, but in case you guys didn't know, when it comes to AI, Salesforce has pledged to bring as much training and enablement around AI to the community for free until the end of this year. So there have been actually a lot of certifications posted. There are about 4. One
Okay.
is similar to the Tableau Specialist. It's an AI equivalent essentially to that, and it is currently free. I think that they are restricting it, moving it back to a paid certification in line with the other certifications after the end of this calendar year. So just for enablement, I thought of that when you brought up midterms. I actually am going to be taking my own test, so workforce midterm equivalent maybe, but just wanted to drop that nugget for you guys.
So, and yeah, if you put it in the chat, because of this, I always joke about I need a roadmap for the Tableau site, and Trailhead is so massive. It'd be really helpful to have a link to that. Thank you, Cameron. That's a good
Absolutely.
suggestion. Okay, Chris, 25 hours, man.
Yeah, I mean, I was just showing this for Ojo. I mean, if you want to come visit Austin, you could drive. I mean, if you're going to move, maybe. It's a little bit of a hike, but I mean, Jane, you definitely win. I mean, it's pretty far to Boston. That's
Oh wow.
Boston
I
makes
mean,
hands down.
this is a good bar question. I bet you could win a free beer for something. Probably catch people off guard with this one.
I think I've done the drive from San Antonio to Rochester, New York.
Oh,
So it's pretty
wow.
similar to San Antonio to Toronto, I think. They're pretty close.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
Wow.
There
It
is
is
this
very
massive
far.
there is this massive road trip coming up when I eventually move lock, stock, and barrel from Toronto to, so that's something I'm looking forward to. From frigid Canada to sweltering San Antonio.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be a haul. Yeah, you got a lot of middle America there to visit. It'll be great.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Mark it
Yeah.
out with good stops.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
All right.
Wow.
It's good seeing everybody. This was
Yeah.
fun. Thanks for
Yeah,
hanging
thanks,
out a little
y'all.
bit longer. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you,
Thank
everyone.
you.
And thank you,
Thanks,
Ojo,
everyone.
very
Thanks,
much.
Ojo, again. Yeah, we'll see y'all next
Yeah,
time.
and Cameron. Good to
Cameron.
see you,
Bye,
Jane.
y'all. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, y'all.